Hello to all who are tuning in to this first short story episode of Ink to Paper Stories and Interviews. I am your host, h.a.spector. So welcome to our first short story episode. Before we jump in, I just want to say thank you for tuning in and thank you for giving this short story a listen. The goal of these types of episodes is to give various authors, writers, and storytellers a platform to share their work in audio format. If you enjoyed today's story, I encourage you to go check out the author's website or follow them on social media. Reach out to them, let them know. It's so important that we interact with our favorite writers and authors because it is important to the author to build a platform and it helps them with their professional endeavors. So I just encourage you to do that. I also want to take a moment to mention every story read on this podcast is written by the author who holds the copyright for the material. Very important there. It is copyright. Please do not reproduce it without the written permission of the author. So I'm excited to hear this story and to pick the author's brain about the writing process. So without further ado, let's welcome back author, professional actor, and fight choreographer, Jakob Tice.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to come on and read us some of your short story work. I'm really excited to hear this story, what you have for us today. And so I'm just looking forward to it.
So just a bit of a precursor. This is based on real events. And I received an assignment in one of my classes at Southern New Hampshire University. Write a story that's basically in the young adult audience genre. And some of the tropes to keep in mind is these are coming of age stories. These are all about the awkwardness of experiencing new situations as you're growing up, things like that. And my mind immediately went to this story. Names have been changed to protect the people who were really involved. And I hope you like it. Interference by Jakob Tice. Football sucked. Correction. Junior high school football sucked. It had to be more glamorous for pros and college players. High schoolers too, probably. But for a rookie 7th grader like Jason Price, football sucked. Why? Lots of reasons. Lack of coordination, lack of size, lack of knowing the freaking difference between a gap and an option play. Whatever, it sucked. And Jason knew this would definitely be his last and only season. If only he could get through the final practice of the year. The whistle blew. Jason lined up as usual in the defensive back position on the prep team. He hated this part the most. The prep team's job was to help the freshman starters get ready for the next opponent. Unofficially, they were glorified tackling dummies. Jason compared his size to the starters for the umpteenth thousandth time. He couldn't help it. He envied the way they looked in their gear and wondered if he'd look half as good once he had his growth spurt, if that day ever came. Must be nice to have muscles, a helmet that fits, and pants that don't sag. Jason was 5'0", 100 and nothing pounds, even with the pads. He looked like a bobbleheaded letter T. No wonder Emery found him so funny. That name, Mark Emery. Jason knew he'd remember it until the day he died. Emery actually looked great in his uniform. Tall, blonde with tan skin, the leading scorer in the district. Emery could even grow a beard. Cheerleaders threw themselves at him. Coaches thought he was God's gift to wide receivers. In short, he was everything Jason despised. Ready, Price? Emery chided from his wide-up position. Jason tried to ignore him, but he already knew what was coming. Embarrassment. Sheer embarrassment. If it was a pass play, Emery's unnatural speed would leave him in the dust. If it was a running play, the freshman would pommel him into the ground. Either way, Emery was letting the rookie know he was about to eat dirt. Again. Coach Meade loomed behind the defense. Meade was scary, no doubt. As tall as he was wide, with a reputation for being mean to, well, just about everyone. There was a rumor he'd even killed a man when playing in the pros. No wonder he worked out at junior high. He was the defensive coordinator, which meant he got to choose the victims. Meade had singled Jason out to play defense because, in his own words, Jason was kind of quick. The coach blew his whistle, giving the signal for the slaughter to begin. Jason wasn't ready when the ball was snapped. In 3 steps, Emery laid him out before he even knew what was happening. Thankfully, the ground broke his fall. Well, that along with his face. The familiar smell of dirt and grass filled his nostrils. The correct procedure when getting drilled by a larger player was to wait for the world to stop spinning before you attempt to move. Slowly, Jason picked himself up and habitually removed the turf stuck in his face mask. He didn't seem to be hurt. Well, except for maybe his pride. No, damn it! Screamed Coach Richards from behind the offense. He was the head coach. That meant he yelled, damn it, a lot. Damn it, do it again, he ordered. Jason realized he'd been flattened on a running play. At least now he knew what was coming. He heard laughter coming from the offense's huddle and looked that direction. Emery was gesturing towards Jason's imprint in the turf. Great. Now the other offensive players were privy to Jason's humiliation. Then things got worse. They all began laughing too. Every single one. That son of a bitch. It happened. Something snapped inside Jason's head. When a junior high school kid snaps, several things happen. First, they get angry. Second, they become murderous. Third, and most importantly, they realize they no longer care. I'm gonna kill that bearded prick. The offense began to line up, just long enough for Jason to put together a plan. Forget Emery's superior size and speed. Jason searched the files in his brain, scanning through the best action films in his memory. He found a move that was perfect. Emery was about to see more airtime than a fighter jet. Hike! Emery charged. Timing was everything. Just before impact, Jason grabbed Emery's jersey with both hands, rolled back on his butt, and kicked both feet up into the receiver's exposed gut. The impact of cleats to flesh was pure heaven. Emery was launched 5 yards, landing hard on the turf with a satisfying grunt. Jason sprang to his feet, wanting that first-string asshole to know that what had happened was no accident. Emery lay stunned, both in body and mind. He'd had the wind knocked out of him, too. Icing on the cake. What the hell? He gasped, clutching his stomach. Again! Coach Richards yelled, unaware his star had fallen. Emery picked himself up. He looked back at Jason in both shock and wonder. Jason met his gaze, not backing down even the slightest. He even managed to grin. He held it as Emery made his way back to the huddle. For once, it was nice to see the so-called hero limping. Dude, y'all see that? Jason looked back. It was Michelson, the safety, yelling at the rest of the defense. Price just threw Emery! Jason froze. He'd forgotten about Meade. Had he heard Michelson? Or worse, had the old man seen what he had done to the team's star? Jason chanced to glance back, but the coach just stood there, arms folded, whistle stuck in his mouth. Then he looked right at Jason. Wait, was that a smirk on his face? Jason turned to the defense. They all looked back at him as if expecting something. The first rule in junior high that any student will tell you is this. If it makes people like you, you do it. Want to see that again? Jason teased. The next play, Jason grabbed Emery by the chest pads and sidestepped, sending him to the ground again. He did the same on the next play, and then again. Now practice was fun. Every snap of the ball, Jason turned into a warrior poet, and Emery was his bitch. The battered hero begged, pleaded even for a penalty flag from Meade. None came. Finally, the whistle blew. Shower up, Richards ordered. That was it. The last practice of the season was over. Jason lowered his head to remove his helmet. When he looked up, he was face to face with Coach Meade. Jason noticed the field had gotten eerily silent. And where had all the other players gone? Jason swallowed the dry lump in his throat when he realized what was happening. He was about to die. Price, do you know what pass interference is? Jason managed to shrug. What about defensive holding? Unnecessary roughness? Another shrug. Jason's ears went red. Meade smiled. We'll work on that next season. See you next year, son. And just like that, football no longer sucked. The end.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob, for that short story. Just felt like a really perfect slice of life. I used to play football in junior high as well. We played flag football because I went to a charter school, and the school didn't have money to buy pads. Therefore, we couldn't enter the community league, so we had to do the flag football league. But still, brought back a lot of memories from playing football and being someone that was less athletic and having to face off against people who were much more athletic than I was.
The thing about the junior high setting, how awkward it was, is because we have grades 7, 8, and 9. And you've got seriously all ranges of sizes at that age. In high school, you got the big and small kids too, but I think it just seemed more pronounced in the junior high years. For example, I wasn't kidding about the size mentioned in that. Jason Price is me. There's no question about that. I was a short kid, skinny kid. I was fast, but that was maybe it. That was the only skill I had when playing football. And then I played against guys, some of the freshmen I played against, there was this one guy who was, easily over 6 feet tall. The next year, by the way, there was a guy who ended up playing at Penn State. He was already over 6 feet tall as a 7th grader. well over 200 pounds. And this is how I know that God has a sense of humor, because not only was this guy big, he was fast, like almost as fast as I was. And so running away from this guy, it just wasn't an option. And so, but you have all these, weird things, because a lot of these guys like me were first time athletes on a football team.
Yeah.
Playing pickup street football doesn't compare to this, because it's more organized. You got the pads. You're being told to hit as hard as you can, things like that. And there are moments I wanted to quit. There are moments I did not like what was happening to me, especially my first year, just getting, punished for just showing up, it seemed, because that was the nature of the game. By the way, the Mark Emery character is based off not just one guy. The person that I did this to, he's actually an okay person, really cool guy. But I just decided to combine all the jerks that I came across during my junior high years into one character. Yeah. And, Mark Emery was born. And I know we all have experiences with somebody or some people like that who could just easily fit that category. And therefore, he has to be the antagonist. He gets to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But it is actually, I'm not kidding, it was the last practice of the year. I knew it was the last practice because I wasn't going to start in the game. I didn't have to worry about, any playing time. So
right.
I just, wasn't that good. And the entire season, this guy, I was letting him do his job by pushing me around because, he was preparing for the game. And so I took it. But then I realized, you know what? I can't live with myself if I let this guy know that I let him do that.
Yeah.
I had to let him know I can hold my own.
Yeah.
I actually developed into an okay player. I didn't have a growth spurt like the story indicates. I really didn't get bigger. I'm still not much bigger than I was in junior high. I'm still a short guy. I got a beer gut now, but I don't drink beer. Go figure. But it was one of those things where those 3 football seasons actually did have an impact on my life. I think I learned some valuable lessons. I learned some things that were good, some bad things about myself. More importantly, I learned about life.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that life is a football game or life is a basketball game. And there are definitely, depending on what sport you like, there are definitely ways to draw similarities with life and what's going on. But I think for everybody who's growing up, they need these moments where they had an obstacle and it's their backs against the wall, or it seems like that, and they have to do something.
Yeah.
And from that will grow confidence. It might be a funny situation. It's going to be a learning opportunity for sure. But I think we all have to have those moments. And that's one of the reasons why, as I develop as an author and do more writing and whatnot, I'm not going to shy away from the young adult audiences. I think this type of story, it can be very inspiring. It could be, have lessons to be taught. Yeah. And here's the funny thing. The way I write young adult stories, it's just got a universal impact. Older authors love it too. My instructor absolutely loved this story. My fellow students, when they read, liked it too, just because of the whole tone and whatnot. It grasps what the young adult readership is all about. And so it actually opened up a door to me to understand this is how I can approach younger audiences. And it's actually really fun. I love writing in this style, by the way. It's just, very matter of fact.
Yeah.
And, tongue in cheek. And here's the gross stuff that happened. Today's youth, they love that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think I love about the young adult genre as well, is that you get to teach life lessons. Those life lessons aren't always good. This one I spun on with kind of a positive flair, but you have to be prepared for your young adult readers to learn the hard lessons. And those lessons they may not want to acknowledge, but they're lessons nonetheless.
If you want to reach out, if you want to connect, you can find Jakob on Facebook, Jakob Tice, Jakob Tice. On Facebook, you can find, we'll have links to all the social media. We'll have links to his website and also links to his project, The Masters of Dueling. So please, if you liked today's story, go out there, follow Jakob, see what he's up to, and connect with him today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Ink to Paper, Stories and Interviews. If you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to leave us a rating and a review on whatever podcast platform you use to access the episode. It's the best way to help the show grow and reach a wider audience. If you are a writer, author, or storyteller across any medium and you want to appear on a future episode of the show, please send me an email at h.a.spectorwrites@gmail.com or send me a message on Bluesky at h.a.spectorwrites.bsky.social. Definitely give me a follow over there. Connect with me there if you'd like to. Always love to connect and meet with new people. As always, keep promoting your local libraries, keep buying books, banned and otherwise, and keep on supporting the storytellers you know and love. All of these things help support a healthy and thriving literary landscape. whether you are a writer or a reader. And I will catch you all in the next chapter.